Good morning. It's rainbow time again, as you see, and I think I'll show you a bit more of what I see. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to make you dizzy. I'm not very good with this thing. Ah! No, that won't do. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And over there. Wow. I get high on this stuff. I really do. Okay, I have a journal for you. It was written at 10:02 a.m. on Saturday, February 20th, 2010. The Mayan calendar day was 9 Serpent, and it's called Oneness Experienced. Wow, what a difference a day makes. Oh, heck, I know that in a great sense, time is not anymore. A day begins to lose its meaning rather quickly in the presence of all this change. Still, it is rather amazing. So, yesterday, and again this morning to some extent, this body was feeling heavy and pain-filled. For about a week, it's been like this, somewhat in the background. I could remain reasonably functional in the midst of it. But the last few days especially, I've seemingly gone back to the old disabled status, needing to rest a lot, being filled with such pain. Anyway, I explored some of this in a private journal last night, seeking understanding. Not that any came, but I explored. The physical stuff was bad enough, but that I can take. I think I've demonstrated in this life that my priorities being such that the physical dimension is almost inconsequential, so physical challenges can be borne. What really initiated the journal, though, was more on the spiritual, the energetic side. You see, for this same time, roughly, I felt somewhat isolated, intuition-wise, from those light beings whom I've grown so used to having close with me always. Now that has been bothersome. I was waiting, sort of in patience, to see what would transpire. Would they reappear, or would the isolation feeling continue? So, last night the waiting ended and I reached out. In one of the most unusual journaling experiences in my life, I did not seem to make contact. Nothing. This has never happened before, that I remember, and it felt quite strange. While feeling more grounded than ever, which is a good thing, mind you, yet I seemed unable to connect with my higher self or with the light beings. Now, this is not exactly correct. Words never are, even under the best of circumstances. They don't ever deserve blind belief either. Anyway, I called upon a particular group of beings, a high council, and at first it seemed they did answer, telling me they were with me. Then I might have gone wrong, I don't know. I asked them to prove themselves, to show me somehow that they were of the light, that they were who they said they were. That's where my sensing failed me, I guess. I seemed to sense a little something, but, and not being able to perceive it clearly enough, well, nothing. Just nothing. Under those circumstances, which, note, I set up for myself, I was, of course, unable to continue with any conversation. I mean, how could I communicate with beings I could not clearly establish were who they said they were? It left me in a quandary. I do believe that valor is the better part of wisdom. Now, wait a minute. That's ridiculous. What a huge typo. It is discretion that is considered the better part of wisdom, and well do I know the saying. Yet, Source penned the word valor instead. How intriguing. That's perhaps the biggest typo yet, as the words just kept coming, not letting me stop and correct them. Parenthetically, everything has meaning, you know. There are no such things as typos, generally, just as there are no accidents, no luck, no coincidences, no chance, etc. So, where was I? There I was, sitting there, having worked myself right out of communicating with whomever had responded to me, so there I sat. I felt as if surrounded in cotton wool, insulated and isolated from communing with all beings of the light. I sat in silence, alone, and trust me, that is not my usual case. If anything, I am connected and in communion pretty much 24/7, so this was odd. It's funny, but I kind of felt for myself as that journal continued. I felt the pain of that, for I didn't know why I was being isolated, either at that time or during the previous week or so. I didn't know whether I'd perhaps done something wrong, if there is such a thing, or if it can be done unintentionally, or what. Was I being tested, for instance? I just didn't know. So there I sat. I had reached out but gotten no answers. I felt lost. So I surrendered. When one can't do anything, it is best often to just let go, to let be, to accept. I accepted my state. Then along came a very funny thing. Now, it didn't feel funny at all at the time, nor was it, but I found myself in prayer. Now, before you either gasp or laugh at that, let me explain. It is not that I never pray. It's something quite different from that. Please be in heart to hear this, and I will try to explain. It is that I am always in prayer, if you will. I am always so connected, so centered, so aware of the light of Source, that I am as if in constant communion with that. Thus, where is the need to pray, to reach out to anything in prayer? Do you see? That's what I mean. Though I did not then realize that, this has been my state for some time. I just hadn't taken the time or focused the awareness sufficiently on self to note this connected state. I was simply in it. Okay, moving on. What occurred then felt at first so odd, so unusual to me. I found myself reaching out to Prime Creator, to highest Source, in prayer. In the midst of my surrender to the cotton wool state, I just settled down deeper into heart and connected, reconnected with the heart of that. God, or Source, is within us all, you know, no matter how good or bad you've been. So, I found myself praying. It felt strange, but right, too. God never fails, you know. Source always, always is there, always, always answers, no matter what else may seem to be the case. It's just the fact. Okay, so there I am praying. What else is happening? While I don't seem to directly hear any answers to my prayer, I'm not looking for them at this point. I'm just loving, just connecting, just flowing with all my might along that line of connection to Source. Though not getting any direct answers the way I'm accustomed to receive them, the connection is made and the deep, joyful tears begin to flow. I am not loved. I am love itself flowing. Words are not needed. This went along for a time. Then something kind of amusing happened.